It was up until 9:02, it was a fairly normal day.
I was actually sitting in the parking lot in my car, talking to my wife on the phone.
We're sitting in the morning meeting, and I remember hearing a loud bang. It sounded like somebody had dropped something on the roof of the station.
It just so happened that morning, Dave called and had a stabbing just west of the Murrah building on Dewey, 5th and Dewey was where it was.
And our general manager and everybody was just down here pointing. And he said, what is that? You know, because we all could feel the vibrations of something happened.
Shortly after we left that spot, the light changed, we moved on, we get through Broadway, under the overhead pass. We up around Harrison, fixing to get back on 235 is when it goes off.
We're 8 miles from downtown Oklahoma City. I felt the bomb. It shook the building that we're in.
We both heard it at the same time because we were on the phone together, and I looked over towards downtown. I could see that black smoke coming up, and I told her I had to leave, and she heard it. She said it sounded like somebody was dropping a washing machine on the house. It was just a strange, metallic, loud sound.
I took off in my truck, and Chris Lee took off in his truck, and we drove. I remember driving pretty fast down Broadway Extension.
I called in and said, I'm out in the parking lot, and they said, well, go to the back where the helicopter is parked, because we're going to get you in the helicopter to do live from the air. I
don't like speeding in a news car because we see a lot of bad things that happen when you're driving too fast. But I think I can safely say that's the fastest trip I ever made downtown.
So I went through the alley off of 6th Street and parked my truck, grabbed a tape, a couple of batteries, stuck them in my pocket. And what I heard across the scanner that morning was the YMCA had an explosion that morning. But it turns out when we get there, we're shooting. There's people everywhere, kids all over the ground, debris everywhere, windows blew out.
Got to a couple of blocks from the Journal Record building, grabbed my gear, ran up, and the first thing that hit me was just all of the glass and the blood. I mean, it was everywhere. Everywhere you looked, there was glass and there was blood.
So I had to wait for a little while because the pilot was running late. And I guess we made it up in the air. We were actually sending back live pictures about 9:30, maybe.
I jumped in my car and started heading downtown. Broadway Extension was, traffic was heavy on Broadway Extension trying to get there. Matter of fact, it was a funny thing. Someone from KTOK rear-ended me on the way going. So we had a little bit of an accident. We just exchanged insurance and information, and I came back and said, we don't have time with this right now. We got to get downtown.
Windows blew out. People blew out the second floor windows. Some of them was in there underclothes and everything, crying and shaking. I talked to one guy, and he was shaking. He was saying, it must have been a bomb, man. Well, he was right. It was a big bomb, but nobody knew that at the time.
I remember being on the back of the Murrah building, and there was just broken out windows. You couldn't see the front of it where it had been just totally ripped away. And I remember looking up there and seeing two women standing in the window. I assume they were probably secretaries that worked in the building. They had, I think one of them even had a purse. I remember firefighters trying to get up to them, but the ladders just weren't long enough.
The reporter, I mean, we didn't know. At the point that we got over the building, we saw what it looked like from the air, and it was, I mean, I'd never seen anything like that. The only thing I could compare it to, and there was just this whole street was just covered with rubble and debris, and you could see the ambulances down there, and the reporter I was with who was doing the live commentary was saying that he had no idea, you know, if there were anybody still alive down there. I mean, it was just one of those things where there's got to be massive numbers of dead people down there.
We lost 4 people in my church from the bombing. One of the guys who was on the same deacon board with me on the same month, he worked for I think the DEA or one of those kind of agencies, and they're always kind of secretive on when their missions are, what they have to go do, and he can't tell his wife when he's going on something, but when he gets there, he'll call and let her know we made it safely. He dropped her off at work, and he said, well, I'm going on, and I got a mission to go on, and I'll call you back. And he dropped her off, and she knew he was heading out at that point. But from what I understand, he forgot something at the office, and so he said, I got to run by the office first. And that's when he got by the office, that's when the bomb went off, and that's what killed him. Well, for 3 or 4 days, his wife was in denial that something would happen to him, because that's how he operates. He's never can call home until, until he's gotten to his location. And that was a hard thing for them to understand. It was just, but I had so many people like that. Like I said, we lost about 3 or 4 people in our church, and it was kind of devastating to us.
Well, I try not to go down there. When I go downtown, I always go on 6th Street, especially if I'm going to the courthouse. I'll go down to Hudson and then go south. I very seldom get on Robinson for anything. I just don't go near that. I shot a story down there with Tierney Cook since she been here, and just standing there looking at that place just kind of give you chills and things.
Well, I mean, 10 years later, it's those visions of the wounded people are still etched in your brain. I can still see them.
I don't think it affected me as much as some other people who worked here. One of the photographers, he doesn't work here anymore, but he was having, post-traumatic stress. I mean, he didn't know what it was, I don't think, but he couldn't sleep at night. He was just having nightmares. It was, he couldn't deal with it.
We've come a long way with a lot of healing. I've seen what they've done down there and tried to make something good out of something bad. They've come a long way, and I hope that it is more healing going on. Sometimes I feel for the families who are directly involved, because it seems like each year we rehash what is going on. We start bringing up and opening old wounds, and I just wonder, when will the time come where, not to say that it's not important, but when will the actual time come so we're not opening up all these old wounds, when the people can just say, well, I've gotten over that, and I can laugh on a Sunday, I can laugh on April 19th, I can enjoy an April 19th without worrying about or wondering, well, my sister was killed, my husband was killed, my daughters were killed, or something like that. I just wonder, when will that ever come to play?